Physical media man, physical media man, physical media man. What'd you buy? Was it something good?
What's up, guys? Physical Media Man back here again for another Physical Media Man Monday video. I have part 6, I believe, of the DVD collection. Hope you guys have enjoyed going through this DVD collection journey with me. I'll have another 2, it looks like, at least in this series. Then I'll try to do some other things that are similar. If you have any ideas of anything you want to see, just let me know and I'll try my best to accommodate. But anyways, before I get started, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, leave feedback, do all that good stuff down below. I'll leave the links to my Instagram page, my Physical Media Man Store Instagram page, my Facebook page for the Physical Media Man / Physical Media Man Store, my Facebook page for non-media related items, the Hodgepodge Garage, my email, my eBay, my Twitter, and my Letterboxd account, as well as my Amazon wish list. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First up, we got the OH in Ohio with Danny DeVito, Paul Rudd. I remember liking this one a little bit, so I decided to go ahead and keep it. I don't think it has a release. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, I like this movie, and I'm a pretty big Paul Rudd fan. I also like Danny DeVito's stuff, so I wanted to keep that one. Alright, trying to remember how to face those so I don't mess everything up. Alright, this one I need to clean, but and I have recently upgraded it. I thought I don't see it over there though. Maybe I haven't. We got old school, the unrated version on widescreen. I probably end up keeping this even if I do upgrade. Just really enjoy this film. Recently watched some of it on TV and was laughing quite a bit still. So yeah, I'm a big Will Ferrell fan. Also like Vince Vaughn as well as Luke Wilson. So yeah, had to keep that one. Next up was one that didn't have a Blu-ray release when I rearranged the shelf over there, and now it's getting one, or it's already got one. Big Jack Black fan. We got Orange County, which I watched this in the theater when it came out in 2002. So remember liking it quite a bit. I haven't watched it in a while, but probably end up upgrading. Yeah. Next up is Out Cold. Almost watched this one when it was really snowy here, and ended up watching Snow Day instead, which I kind of get these ones confused, but remember enjoying this, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time I ever remember seeing Zach Galifianakis. But yeah, good film there. Next up's a really good Kevin Spacey one. I have a collection of his. Also has Helen Hunt and Haley Joel Osment in it, and Pay It Forward, which I don't believe has a Blu-ray. Next up, same thing, no Blu-ray. I don't believe. We got PCU, and I picked this up because it's got David Spade and Jeremy Piven in it. I thought it sounded good, so watched it and liked it. It's kind of like a college movie. Next up, I remember liking this. It's been a while since I watched it. Have it for the Nicolas Cage collection. We got Peggy Sue Got Married. Next up, if I'm not mistaken, I remember this one being a pleasant surprise, but I could be wrong. We got Al Pacino and People I Know. I picked this one up for his collection. Next up, it has a Blu-ray, which I haven't picked up yet. Dropped it. Come on, hands. But it's got a cool slipcover. We got Woody Harrelson and Courtney Love and Edward Norton, and I picked this up for the Edward Norton collection. We got The People versus Larry Flint, about Larry Flint and Hustler magazine. So yeah, it's got this slipcover, and then it opens up like that. So anyways, yeah, probably keep that regardless. Next up, we got Ben Stiller and Elizabeth Hurley and Permanent Midnight. This is an old Blockbuster rental. yeah, it's a true story, if I'm not mistaken, about a hot television writer and the dark side of Hollywood. Remember it being good, but disturbing for sure. Next up, we got Ben Affleck in Phantoms. You were the bomb in Phantoms. So, yeah, not the greatest, but not awful. Not probably as bad as the IMDb rating, and I'm definitely keeping it for the Ben Affleck collection. Next up, which I'll probably get rid of now that I have the Shout Factory release, we got The Pianist with Adrian Brody. Watched that one in school, if I'm not mistaken, and pretty good film. Next up would be cool if this got a Blu-ray. This is an underrated Vince Vaughn drama. Also has Ed Harris in it. We got The Prime Gig and a snapper. Definitely recommend checking this one out if you're not a Vince Vaughn, or if you're not a Vince Vaughn fan. If you're a Vince Vaughn and haven't seen it, definitely worth checking out. Next up, we got a young Johnny Depp and Private Resort, which I think might have some sort of release. I think I picked this one up on eBay when it definitely didn't. A fun sex teen comedy. So yeah. Next up, I feel like people either really like this movie or really don't. I really do. Would be cool if it got a Blu-ray. We got James Caan in The Program. This is very, very similar to Blue Chips, kind of the same premise of it follows a coach in a college program that's really close to very good success, and just kind of the gray areas, or not really gray areas, but them forced with either, not forced, but their decision of doing the right or wrong thing, and yeah, definitely worth checking out if you're a sports movie fan like I am. Next up's another one I would kind of say is underrated. I feel like it never really gets talked about. Have this one for the Russell Crowe collection. We got him and Meg Ryan in Proof of Life. And next up, I think I might have finally upgraded. Maybe not. I don't think I have. It doesn't look like it. Keeping this one regardless. It's just a really cool release. One of my earlier items in my collection as well. We got the collector's edition of Pulp Fiction, and it has this little like slip case thing. And then you got the double discs with the booklet. Just one of my favorite films. Probably my favorite Tarantino film. If I can get it back in there. There we go. So yeah, definitely keeping that in the collection regardless. There's that. Next up, we got John Grisham's The Rainmaker. I'm a big fan of John Grisham's work. I remember being a little disappointed in this, if I'm not mistaken, especially with Matt Damon and Danny DeVito, as well as being a Francis Ford Coppola film. But I need to revisit, but I definitely want to keep in the collection just because it's John Grisham. Plus, I have the Matt Damon collection going. So, next up, we got some Schwarzenegger and Raw Deal. Don't believe this one has a Blu-ray. I could be wrong on that. He's kind of a ridiculous character in this one, but I'm a huge fan of his. And yeah, I definitely wanted to keep this. I probably won't watch it too often, but it's an old Anchor Bay release, and I think all of his stuff. So yeah. Next up, we got some Pierce. Remember this one being pretty decent too. I feel like all his stuff I usually enjoy. We got Raw Heat. Yeah, this is put out by Artesian DVD. And like I said, a lot of his stuff only has DVD releases, and I think this is one of them. So had to have it in the Pierce collection, which Also, his stuff usually isn't too expensive, so this one was only $2.44 when I purchased. Next up, I think really should get a Blu-ray. I haven't watched this in a long time, but I used to watch it a ton. Need to revisit. Big wrestling fan, and this is out of print. I might go for some money, I'm not sure. We got David Arquette, Oliver Platt, Scott Conn, and Ready to Rumble. Need to show this one to my wife because she was watching wrestling around that time too, but this is WCW and she was watching WWF, but just a lot of fun from what I remember. I definitely need to revisit. Next up, for my Martin Lawrence collection as well as sports movie collection, we got Rebound. Yeah, not the best, but still enjoyable. Some more Arnold. Don't believe this one has a Blu-ray either. Him and Bridget Nielsen and Red Sonja. And this might have been when they had their affair, I think. Not near as good as the Conan movies, but definitely worth watching if you're an Arnold fan and having it in the collection. Think the artwork's sweet. So yeah, definitely keeping that. And then here we got one that's kind of considered a Christmas movie. Have it for the Kevin Spacey collection. Worth watching. We got The Ref with him and Dennis Leary. All right. Moving on to stack 2. It's kind of top heavy. Let's see if I can move these over. I should have moved that earlier. All right, there we go. This one I have upgraded for sure, but it's just a cool release. We got Reservoir Dogs, the 15th anniversary, and it comes in this like gas can, and then it slides out and stuff. So pretty neat release. So I decided to keep that. Next up, remember this being pretty bad, but I have it for the Jim Carrey collection. We got Rubber Face. This was a $5 Walmart pickup back in the day, from the $5 bins. Remember it being pretty terrible. Next up, should also have a Blu-ray. We got Richie Rich with Macaulay Culkin. Recently went to, as in the last few years, we went to the house, which is the Biltmore Estate in Asheville, North Carolina. So awesome of a building. But yeah, really enjoy this one. Next up, we got some young Denzel Washington with John Lithgow and Ice-T, and a snapper. This is HBO, so it might have been a TV movie, but remember it being very good. We got Ricochet. He plays a cop, and Lithgow's like the bad guy. Definitely worth watching if you're a Denzel fan. Next up, I remember watching it in high school and liking. It's been a while though. I think this was, so it's marked at $5, but I think I paid $2.50. We got The Right Stuff, and this is a 2-disc special edition. This might have a Blu-ray, I'm not sure. Next up, we watched this last year or so. My wife was a pretty big fan, and I ended up liking it. And Meryl's actually not too annoying in this one. There is a scene where she is definitely, but she's not too bad in this one. Also has Kevin Bacon. We got The River Wild. Definitely worth watching. Next up, we got Road Trip, the unrated version. I feel like Tom Green stuff hasn't really got Blu-rays too often either, and I was a fan of his. Then next up, we watched not too long ago. It was okay, but Pierce, definitely keeping it. We got Robinson Crusoe. Next up was one of my favorites growing up. This really should have a Blu-ray. I think this was part of the Jason donation to the collection, because I knew it was a bad disc and I never picked it up. But we recently watched it. It's just a fun one. Always enjoy this one. Rookie of the Year. This I have upgraded. Yes, I have upgraded. Cool artwork on the DVD. Really good movie. I decided to keep it. We got Rounders with Matt Damon and Edward Norton. Need to revisit that one too. It's been a while. Next up, I wish had an outer case. I've upgraded this one too. We got Rudy, one of my favorites. I'm missing the outer case, like I said. It's got the DVD, which I don't have in there for some reason. But one of the coolest parts of this, and one of the reasons I bought it, because I think I already have it on DVD at the time, was this like special edition also came with the soundtrack, which is phenomenal, by Jerry Goldsmith. And yeah, big Notre Dame fan, but just a really great sports film and kind of a coming of age and inspiring movie. Just a really good film. Next up, I remember liking this one quite a bit too. We got Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson in Rules of Engagement. I think this one might have a Blu-ray that might be a double feature or something to do with Mill Creek, so I haven't picked it up. But yeah, I remember liking this quite a bit. Next up, I think I got the All of Films Blu-ray. I'll probably keep this anyway, just because I like Arnold so much. We got a special edition of The Running Man. Next up, we got Harrison Ford, Julia Ormond, and Greg Kinnear in a Sidney Pollack film, Sabrina. This is the remake, which I've watched and enjoyed, and I have not yet watched the original. Next up, I do have on Blu-ray for sure. One of my favorites growing up, and still a favorite. We got The Sandlot. Never gets old. Just a great film. Next up, I have a steelbook of. This is also one of my earlier titles in my collection. It's a cool 2-disc anniversary edition with slipcover. We got Al Pacino and Scarface. Next up, which is full screen, which is kind of a bummer, but unrated Ballbuster edition. We got Billy Bob Thornton and John Heder in School for Scoundrels. Remember this one being kind of funny, so I decided to keep it. Next up, we got one which I think I've talked about a little bit. This is actually written and directed by, I feel like Woody Allen for me is very hit or miss, and I was really kind of buying some stuff of his after I watched this film. This one I really enjoyed. Woody Allen, Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson, and Ian McShane, and Scoop. So yeah, if you haven't seen this one, I definitely recommend it. Some of his other, even the like Best Picture winner, which I think is Manhattan, or no, not Manhattan, Annie Hall. Didn't really like Annie Hall. Really like this one though. So I don't know, he's very hit or miss for me, and I really like that one. Next up, I have as part of a Mummy collection. This is also one of my earlier titles in my collection. Big fan of The Rock, so we got The Scorpion King. So I ended up keeping that. Next up has a Blu-ray that goes for easily over $50. I think it's closer to $100. Really enjoy this film. I'm a big Brendan Fraser fan, especially after meeting him. He was so cool. But I really enjoyed this movie to begin with. I probably wish I would have had this signed, but I couldn't find it at the time. We got Albert Brooks and Brendan Fraser and The Scout. I definitely recommend this if you're into sports movies. Really good score by Bill Conti, and just a really fun movie. Next up, I remember really enjoying this when I watched it around high school. We got Norm Macdonald, Dave Chappelle, Danny DeVito, and Screwed. I remember thinking this one was hilarious. It's been a while. It might have some sort of release, but yeah, I just have the DVD for now. Next up was one I wanted to revisit, as I mentioned in another video. And I don't think this has a Blu-ray. We got The Secret Garden, which I don't really remember, but I think my wife, when I asked her about it, she liked it, so I went ahead and kept that. Next up, it was not very good. But like I said, I'm a big Arnold fan, so far I've kept it anyway. We got See Arnold Run. Not that great. Next up, we got some more Pierce with Liam Neeson and Seraphin Falls. Next up, we got some Hulk Hogan, Carl Weathers, and Shannon Tweed, and Shadow Warriors. I've watched it. Not the greatest, but big Hulk Hogan fan, so decided to keep it. And lastly, which I would be surprised if this doesn't have a Blu-ray, maybe it doesn't, Really enjoyed this film. Gwyneth Paltrow, Jack Black, Jason Alexander, and Shallow Hal. Big Jack Black fan. This is one of his ones I watched early on in his career and really liked. So yeah, so that's everything for part 6. Hope you guys have enjoyed this series, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'll definitely respond to you as soon as I can. So this is Physical Media Man signing off. Physical Media will never die. Physical Media Man. Physical Media Man. Physical Media Man.